I do have my questions
You're
here.
very honoured to even be allowed in here. Oh my God.
know,
I've never
I
I've never had a journalist in here, ever.
Well, I'm not even a journalist.
And I've been here. No, but any kind of filming or anything. I've lived here for 30
Yeah, thank you so much.
30 years I've lived here and never, no.
It's a genuine honour.
My husband's like, why are you doing this? And I said, I don't know, he just seemed really nice.
Well, I'll take that. Feels like a big deal. Doesn't it feel like a big deal? Sorry, it is such a big deal. Okay, right. This week's guest is best known for presenting Changing Rooms at the height of its success. Since then, she's built her own business, spoken openly about women's health, and now works as a humanist wedding celebrant. It's Carol Smillie. I think that deserves a round of applause. Amazing.
Hello.
I listened to a previous podcast and one of the hosts was struggling with humanist celebrant.
Yes, I know who that was.
It then got into my head that I was going to I've never struggled with it before, but I was really nervous about reading humanist celebrant. Never struggled with that. But anyway, it's so lovely.
You did it beautifully, don't worry.
Thank you so much. Thank you, first off. We are so grateful for you inviting us in to your... we call this a studio office. We call it a studio. Okay. And this is where you meet a lot of the people that you work with now, which we'll go on to speak about in a second. It's also nice to see you sat down because I have watched in preparation for recording this, a compilation of you walking downstairs, spinning, and then carry on walking. I don't know if you've seen them on YouTube, but there are basically 5-minute compilations of Wheel of Fortune, where you walk down in all the different dresses, spin and carry on. So I didn't know...
I've never seen that.
Have you not?
No.
I have to send you the link. It's a brilliant watch. It's a brilliant watch.
How sad would I be to sit and watch that?
Well, I guess I can do it.
Okay.
In preparation and research. I did see the stairs there, but we won't ask you to... It's a push. It's a push. You've let us in. We're not going to take the mickey. We are going to start with the opening tradition on the podcast, which is the question, when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a tightrope walker.
That is, I think, the most unique answer we've ever had. Okay.
When I was about 5 or 6, I remember saying, I want to be a tightrope walker. I never at any point considered the safety element or the leaving home element. I think I just wanted to be lights on me and the centre of attention. What a brat.
Well, at least you could admit it.
Well, I kind of think maybe I did in the end do something of that ilk, but I've often thought, what a weird thing for a kid to want to do. I never even went to the circus, never saw anything like that. I just must have been in storybooks or maybe on a
So you weren't an
show.
adrenaline junkie, you didn't have like a passion for going up high on things? No. It just maybe that was going to give you the spotlight.
Yeah, I think it must have been.
Okay. I've never had tightrope walker, so I appreciate that. The circus. So you didn't, just to be clear, you didn't then go on to do anything with the circus?
Never went away with the circus.
Because that's usually the question, that's why I asked the question, just to see if there are any through lines. But other than maybe a bit of the spotlight and being centre stage.
Yeah, the sparkly outfits probably were about as shallow as it went.
That's where it correlates. Okay, that's great. You've already done This Is Your Life. So I don't want this to be This Is Your Life. I don't want to go through the whole story, but we are going to go back a few steps if that's okay. And I'm going to ask you what you were like at school.
Primary school or secondary school?
I guess primary and secondary school, yeah.
I'm the youngest of 5, so came out a little bit sassy, I think. Okay. Yeah. But I think I was, compared to nowadays, I think I was quite a good kid. I wanted to do well. I wanted to please the teacher. I wasn't a naughty child, I don't think. But I loved school. My primary school was next door to where I lived.
Okay,
so
handy.
Basically the playground backed onto our garden and I would leg it over the fence every morning and got into trouble for not being ladylike.
Okay.
Because I would sit and eat my cornflakes and wait to hear the bell ring and then
just
over the
literally
fence.
jump. I was going to say, did they just throw you over the fence?
Yeah.
So okay,
I was quite tomboyish, if that's an expression we're allowed to use nowadays.
I think it is.
Back then, I didn't care about legging it over the fence.
Yeah.
And then at break time, I'd bring the whole class and say, Mum, we're all hungry.
So your family would be feeding everyone?
Yeah, my mother was a bit like, oh, God. Yeah.
Outside of the dinner hall, they've all gone into your house and raided your fridge
biscuits
and
over the
everything.
fence, yeah.
So I heard that you went to private school. Was that for secondary school?
Yeah, secondary school.
Was there, and as the youngest of 5 siblings, it was just you that went to private school?
Yes, it was.
So was there additional expectation on you because of that? And why did that come about?
I didn't feel it at the time But I suppose there must have been a bit of an additional expectation. But my parents didn't have the money to send the others. There was quite a big difference between me and my next siblings, 8 years.
Okay.
And I think they thought, well, maybe there's a life out of, this neighbourhood, and maybe that would be something we should try. So my mother took on an extra job. She had 2 jobs to pay for it. But they never made me feel, we've taken this on, we want you to do well. But it was the best thing that I've ever happened to me, I think.
That's brilliant.
And it's something I really want to do for my children. Not that I'm saying, our local primary school was great and really, a good education. Secondary, less so. It was a bit more wild.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes for most places and most people's experiences. There's a bit more worry about secondary school for your kids.
Well, especially nowadays,
Yeah, and it's definitely my experience. I've got a 4 and a 7-year-old, and primary school right now is a safe, nurturing, lovely space.
Yeah.
The bubble is amazing. And then just thinking that a few years away is this... I remember my experience of secondary school, and it wasn't great in the first year. So you just want to protect your children and make sure they've got a nurturing experience throughout. You can't always do that, obviously.
Well, so it's a jungle now.
Yeah.
With phones and social media, but let's not even go into that. I'm so glad my kids missed all of that virtually.
Yeah. So with so private school came out. I'm always interested in careers advice around that time.
Yeah.
And what careers were being signposted, because I think there's still a gap at school now with education and what careers are spoken about. But where did you see a lot of your peers starting to go off into different industries?
The perception really was that you would be either a doctor or a lawyer, perhaps a nice brain surgeon, something like that, which was just never going to be me.
Okay.
I was not an academic kid. Okay. But one thing I learned from that school, and subsequently sent my own children to that school, because of that, was confidence. Right. To be able to look an adult in the eye, to shake their hand and say, "Hi, I'm Carol," or whatever. It doesn't need much more than that. But nowadays, that impresses me when a kid can do that, because they're so awkward and, I think that to me was worth gold.
I think most people call them soft skills now, but actually, in a world where we are so... Well, sitting in a room with people just happens less and less. Yeah, we're so disconnected. Actually being able to approach someone, have a conversation off the bat, build rapport.
But we didn't have that world then. And yet I think, they pushed you to speak publicly. You'd have to stand up and do something. You'd have to do a reading. You'd have to take part in the school play, all of which gently encouraged you to be a confident person in whatever your abilities were. And mine were not amazing, I have to say.
But not in an academic sense?
No, not in an academic sense.
So what traits were you showing, what skills or talents were you showing around
Definitely
that
artistic, creative.
Okay.
Definitely. I loved the art class. I went on to art school as a result. But
so Glasgow School of Art?
Yeah.
Okay.
Briefly.
Well, I wanted to ask you about this because, again, I heard, and I'm just going to say through research, I've listened to a number of your podcasts that you've done, and it's nice to be able to go back through some archive stuff and listen and learn a bit more about you before coming in. But you talked about Glasgow School of Art and one of your tutors saying to you that you were just starting to get into modelling around that time. Yes. Is that right? If I get the chronology correct?
So I left school and didn't have the qualifications to get into Glasgow School of Art, so I had to go to college. Right. And the first year of college was it was like freedom, a riot. I had the best year, but I still flunked. I thought, all right, okay, I'm really going to have to go to college.
Sounds like my experience of college.
Where I don't know a single soul and get my head down because I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing here. So I went to a different college and got the qualifications, got in again. Thankfully, my portfolio was accepted twice. And then I got in there and I thought, oh, this is not what I was thinking. Back up, beep, beep, beep.
In what way? Why didn't it meet expectations?
It was very, first year art students are very much trying to express themselves. So there was a lot of blue hair and funny shoes and kind of, what are you doing? Why are you? So I knew I didn't have the money to kind of live outside of art school. I was still living at home, but I wanted the freedom to be able to earn my own money. So I started modelling to make some money.
Right.
I mean, who did I think I was? 5'5" and I was lucky. But again, that confidence, and maybe it was that, I don't know.
You must have been getting something back. Obviously, you can't just decide to be a model and then go and do it.
No, I went to a couple of agencies and they were like...
they need to be feeding that fire.
Like, how tall?
What was the average height for a model back then?
5'9".
Okay, right. So you're a little...
It still is,
a little way
minimum.
off.
That's quite short for a model, actually.
Okay.
So I was 5'5" and a half.
That matters.
But it was about getting on with the press, getting on with, being amiable, if you like. So I would get booked for photo shoots with the local press for the fashion shoots and things because I got on well with photographers. I didn't take the mickey on the time. So you're paid by the hour. So I would turn up with all the stuff to make the outfits look better. I was on time, and that, all of that kind of went in my favour.
How you carried yourself, how you deal in that environment is really important.
Maybe.
And
yeah. I'm still friends with some of them now. It's funny.
Amazing.
Yeah. I've done ceremonies for their families and things.
That's
like
incredible,
I know.
isn't it?
I know.
Yeah. But that relationship building is a really important part of everything that you've done, I guess.
Yeah.
And being able to build that rapport quickly is an underrated skill.
I knew I was
now.
on a shaky peg. I knew I'd scrape through with the skin of my teeth, thinking the other girls here, I mean, they are taller, slimmer, they're gorgeous. I'm absolutely clanging on with my fingernails here.
But that was all in your... That was your
I think
opinion.
that probably was clinging on. When I look at the pictures now, I think, what were you thinking?
But it's strange, the narrative and the story we tell ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, but they liked me and I liked them, and I made sure I chatted to them. I'd bring biscuits, I'd bring, just to be
You made yourself
sociable.
Easy to work with,
yes.
which is, again, an
Hugely,
undervalued thing, for sure.
So they wanted to book me again
because
I got the job done, in on time, out on time. Had a nice time.
So this was all going on when you went to Glasgow School of Art.
Yes.
And I was particularly taken by this comment that your tutor had said, the art thing that the modelling thing that you're doing, maybe you should lean into that a bit more.
Maybe. Yeah, I failed my first year and I thought, oh God. And he was great. He took me to the pub and he said, look, this modelling malarkey, you thought about it? I said, are you trying to say I'm a really bad artist? Or he went, no, I just think you'd be happier. He was so right. He recognised that in me.
What a lovely thing to be able to identify in someone and actually have the care and...
I felt like a fish out of water there, I must admit. It was not what I thought it was going to be.
What was your medium out of interest? What were you?
Well, the first year you do a bit of everything.
Okay.
So then you specialise in the second year. But, my parents were already kind of worried that I was going to art school.
Yeah.
God.
Whereas
and then I went
again,
into modelling. Oh my God, my dad used to go over my photographs with, microscope or whatever, magnifying glass.
Yeah.
See how many buttons I had undone. I mean, basically it was soft porn for him.
Well, I was going to ask what the reaction of your parents were, having invested in you to go to private school, maybe around that time with visions of lawyer, brain surgeon, something more academic.
I don't think even they thought I'd be a lawyer or a brain surgeon, but I think they thought I'd maybe I'm not accounting. That was a terrible idea. Just something traditional, something solid, something good grounding.
Which maybe modelling and art school did not tick those boxes.
Not at all. Bless them.
Were you? Did their reaction change the way you felt about modelling at all? Or you had that about you at the time?
I knew I could make money doing this, and I knew that I could build something. I never would have believed I could have done it in the traditional sense.
Okay.
So it was fine. And so I ended up, I had a mortgage at 21. Who does
Incredible.
that? Weirdo.
Well, yeah.
And I only got a mortgage at 21 because I worked on a stand in the exhibition centre for a financial exhibition.
Right. Okay.
Giving out leaflets.
Yeah.
Got bored, guy talked me into it, signed up for a mortgage.
There you go.
And a pension plan.
Oh, you did it there?
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Well, it was more the pension plan, but then I had a relationship. I knew him at that point, so when I thought I could buy a flat, and I could buy a 2-bedroom flat and rent the other room to another model, and that would help pay my mortgage.
So there's a bit of a property through line as well, because you're doing a bit with property now as well, or you've got some properties, but I think that's really savvy at 21. To have had that.
Looking back, I think it's savvy at 21, but I don't think I was savvy at 21. It just sort of all happened.
Yeah. Okay. So you went into modelling. Were you modelling exclusively when you landed the Wheel of Fortune job? Yes,
pretty much.
For how long had you been doing that?
Maybe 5-6 years.
Okay.
I was with an agency. up here, and they contacted me because Wheel of Fortune was recorded in Glasgow. And they said, oh, they're looking for this hostess. Do you want to have a go? Sure. I went along, and the whole audition was done in front of the press. I mean, what a horrible thing to do.
I guess that was completely out of the ordinary for things that you'd experieed in the past as well.
So all I had to do was, wear a nice dress, walk down the stairs, spin on the half landing.
I've seen it. Real pro.
Come down to the bottom, pick up an alarm clock and go, my prize is this, whatever it was. So negotiate the heels, the spinny stairs, oh God. But I bought this dress, which was a sort of wrap-over dress. And when they put the microphone in the back of my knickers, I had very, very small knickers back then. These days ago. And as I spun, it fell out through the through the G-string.
Wow!
And I burst out laughing, and I went, stop the bus! And everybody laughed, and I thought, well, I've blown that. But then the producer said he took all the recordings away, looked at them all, and I was the one that made him laugh.
Right, got you.
I had he said you styled it out. It was very funny.
There you go. And I think it pays, doesn't it, in those moments? You're connecting beyond just, being beautiful, walking down the steps. And
it helped as well that for once my height or lack of inches went in my favour.
Okay.
Because Nicky Campbell isn't that tall. Sorry, Nicky.
Do we know how tall Nicky Campbell is?
He's not small, but when you put a girl next to him with massive heels on...
Yeah, of course, towering above.
Yeah, well, not towering above, but, most models would tower above, yes.
Okay.
And I didn't.
Yeah, so that's worked in your favour.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So you did that for 5 years?
Yes.
Did it feel like when you landed that job that things were falling into place, that there was a plan? No. 5 years.
All we did was film 25 shows in 5 days. Right, so once a year, I had 5 days recording these shows, and then I had 360 days to go, what am I going to do now? So
one of my questions was going to be how you dealt with the downtime then, because again, throughout your career, I guess there's been times of real focus, and then other times where it's like, okay, in the between moments, how do you keep mentally engaged? How do you keep your kind of your value, and how you value yourself in that time where you're not necessarily working? Well,
I carried on with the modelling for a while, but it became clear that I was different now from the other girls.
Right.
Just by nature of the fact of being in a primetime TV show. And so, suddenly you find yourself doing a fashion show and they put you in the swimwear and go, for those of you who don't know, this is. And I think, oh, wait a minute, I'm not paid any more than them. Hey, whoa, back up.
You're attached to something now.
Yes, plus I'm also being singled out, which didn't go down well with the other girls.
Right.
I thought, I've got to make a decision. How much more can I do of this? And not, because they won't pay me more, but I am worth more.
You're a commodity in a way. They can capitalise on that.
I thought maybe I should have a go at this TV thing, but I have no footage other than being a game show hostess, which, isn't great.
I would have hired you just for the walking in the spin.
Yeah, yes, but nobody else saw that. It was only the producer saw that.
It's niche, isn't it? I guess. At that time. Yeah.
So, that was tricky. So I thought, well, I have to pull together some kind of tape, because we had tapes in those days, showing something else other than a game show. So I wrote to all the TV production companies in Scotland, and I said, you've maybe heard of me, this is who I am, I will work for free, just to get something on tape that is not a quiz show. So a lot of it was community videos or, kind of corporate things. Saying you work for free is very emotive. People have seemed quite happy to. Yeah,
Funnily
sure,
enough, people take you up on that. Yeah.
So till I got enough, and then I got a decent editor to pull together.
Like a show reel
clips,
of sorts,
to make it look like I'd done loads of stuff.
But that's so savvy to be thinking of that.
Smoke and mirrors.
But that's again, we talk about the importance of giving up your time if you want to get into a certain role. And I think that is it's been vilified a bit more now, in that people are less willing to go, I'm not doing that for free. There needs to be.
You have to.
But actually, I think there's so much to be said, so much value in giving up your time.
You're not paying me for this?
No, that's true.
God.
Don't tell everyone, Carol. But yeah, I do think maybe it's not so valuable to you now doing this for free, but when you're starting out, you can
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Be easy to work with, show your talent and show that you've got this skill. But what a great mindset. And how old were you when you're doing this?
26, 27.
Okay.
Anyway, I had an agent by then that had been recommended by the producers of Wheel of Fortune, who went on to become a very long-standing family friend, and, you know, we're still in touch now. But he took that tape to BBC Two, the travel show. They were looking for reporters. And I found myself in this interview, really sort of daunting interview in this boardroom with just me and the producer. And she's like, oh, so she put the video on. I'm thinking, cringe. She's going to know this is all rubbish.
Could be outed.
And she went, so talk me through this. And I went, oh, probably loads of stuff you've never seen or heard before. But, you know, I can do this job. And I left thinking, well, goodbye. That's the end of that. And then about a week later, they phoned and I'd lost my purse. And I thought, I've left it in that interview. And I thought they were phoning me about the purse.
Oh, we've got something in lost property for you.
They went, no, you got the job. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that feel at the time?
Amazing.
With all that commitment that you've put into giving yourself the best opportunity to go in and do it as well. Yeah. Was there a bit of validation for you at that stage, or was it until you got going?
I think so, but what they did say was, we'd like to send you to elocution lessons.
Okay.
What?
How did you take that?
You're quite Scottish. And well, why did I take that? I didn't take that, or I did, you know, I just accepted that.
Right.
It was early days. Lorraine Kelly was the only other Scottish voice. And she's broader than me in vocal terms. So I said, all right. And basically to teach me to walk and talk.
Right.
I mean, that just wouldn't happen nowadays.
I don't think you'd get away with
just
saying
slow
that.
down when I was speaking, say Glasgow rather than Glasgow, you know.
That's really interesting.
I'm having a bath, no bath. Just to make it, that would never happen now, but it did happen then, and I thought, whatever, okay, if that's what it takes to get this job.
It's a rite of passage almost for
I did
you
it
to go through
without question. Like, I don't want to cause trouble. I've just got my foot in the door. I'm certainly not going to make a fuss. I mean, it was like hardly went for very long. It was fine.
Did they have to? I would imagine. I was going to say, did they have to iron a lot of stuff out when they were doing elocution, or was it?
No,
what was
I really don't think it was more slowing down and being clearer and delivering how to deliver a line. When I speak to camera, it's different from when I chat with my friends, as it is with anyone. Yeah. But I'd never done this before. You know, I'd never.
Which went on to be such an important skill throughout your career, being able to present to camera.
Yes, if you're doing a national TV show, you don't want people going, "What? What did she say?"
Well, what I've realised, again, just doing those introductions, but speaking down the barrel of a lens is very different to having a conversation. I love this setup. Yes. I don't like looking down there. So it's a very different skill set, and one that I think is that you have to work on. It's the same as anything, isn't it? Okay, so Wheel of Fortune was very much a supporting role.
Yes.
I would say. Yeah. So Nikki's the lead, you're in a supporting role. Yeah. Did you have... We're going to go on to talk about what you did next. Obviously, the travel show we've talked about already. But did you have aspirations of taking on more of a lead type role? Were you even thinking about it when that happened?
Not even thinking about it.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I had no skills like that. I'm not a presenter, and it didn't give me a lot of experience as a presenter.
Yeah. Okay.
Just learning how to clap quietly.
Yeah. Was that the biggest takeaway?
Because
great.
your mic's on, so you can't with the audience. If you start doing that, you can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So.
There was just shock and awe then
Looking at the
around
board.
the room. Yeah.
Yeah,
revealing the secrets. Yeah. Okay. So not necessarily this kind of lead. So now I'm going to get mixed up on the chronology slightly. Yeah. So you might have to correct me.
It's okay.
Did you land changing rooms? Are you comfortable with saying that's what a lot of people know you the most for?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes.
So did you land changing rooms or Smillie's People start first? Because you did your own chat show.
After Travel Show became BBC Holiday.
Right, okay, wow.
With BBC One, so switched from 2 to 1.
Yeah.
By which point I'd got married.
Right.
And I'd gone from, I was just filming all the time, coming home, dropping my bag, doing the washing, changing it, going back again. It was a lot. There was only 3 presenters.
Yep.
Penny Junior was the host.
Yep.
Paddy, forgotten his surname, and a couple of others. There was very few of us, so we had a lot of filming to do. And I got quite disorientated where I was going, where I'd been. And I came home one day to the wrong house because we moved house, and I went to the wrong house, and I thought, this is too much. This is too much. I don't even know where to keep the sugar. Oh my God. And then BBC Holiday came on and said, look, we've got lots of presenters. We'd like you to join the team, but you'd only have to go away once a month.
Right.
I thought,
okay.
back of the net.
Yeah.
So I did that, and that was a perfect job. It was lovely. I had time away and time at home. And then Jill Dando was murdered, and I had to step in at a very short notice to fill for her. That was horrific. You don't want to be doing her job, but everything, all the shoots have been set up. It was like, this is awful. We can't. This is all, I need like 2 days' notice. Can you go?
Yeah.
And I was pregnant at the time.
Right.
And,
it's such a sensitive position to try and step into someone's shoes. She was and is a national treasure to try and do that. Like, what a situation to find yourself in.
Would love to be the host, but not like this.
Yeah, no, of course not.
So that was heavy.
Yeah.
But I suppose I felt if I could do right by her in some way, that was a lovely thing.
Yeah, honour that in
it was
your
a weird shoot.
Right. Okay.
Or 2.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So did 5 years on BBC Holiday.
Yeah.
Which was lovely, and that's when changing rooms came in.
Right.
So the producer called me and said, right, we've been asked to do this. I knew him quite well, but we've been asked to do this this DIY programme. A DIY programme. Are we literally going to be watching paint dry? And he said,
what way to frame it? That wasn't the pitch.
Well, they'd done a pilot with a guy presenting it.
Okay.
Who I'll never feel bad about.
Right.
But they said, like, they think you'd be good for it and hosting it, And I said, well, what's the pilot like? He went, hang on a minute. And I could hear him rewinding the tape, I said, well, what time did they start in the morning? Because it must be. And he went, oh, it's dark. I said, what do you mean it's dark? And he went, they must have started quite early. I said, go back to the end. When did they finish? He went, it's still dark. I said, oh, for goodness sake, I'm not doing this. And he went, no, they filmed it in January, which is why. He said, look, come along, we'll have a laugh. It'll be great fun. Let's give it a go. And I was like, okay.
And that was it. That was the start of it.
I turned up on day 1, sat and had a cup of tea with Andy.
Yeah.
Who I had one child at this point. He had one child, and we just sat and chatted about our kids. I said, how did you get this job? And he went, oh, well, I was doing up Linda Barker's bathroom. What? And he said, well, she got the call, and I was singing upstairs in the background, as I do. And they went, oh, who's that? And she said, oh, it's my joiner. He said, he sounds great. I mean, this is not how telly happens nowadays.
No, I was going to say.
He got the job because he was singing loudly in the back of Linda Barker's
Handy
bathroom.
Andy became a household name because he was singing loudly in Linda Barker's bathroom.
Yeah.
That's a headline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. Okay.
It was also naive back then, And then I discovered that the producers who made the programme didn't have that as an idea at all. They were on their way to a meeting in London with the BBC with this concept, and it was so bad. They sat in the train, they went, this is terrible. We're never going to get this past anyone. We better come up with something else. And on the train on the way there, they dreamt up changing rooms.
Amazing. Wow. Did you feel when you landed the changing rooms role that this was more your space? Like, again, similar in style because you're hosting something.
Yeah.
But you're now taking more of a lead in that role. Like it's fundamentally, you were the glue, like in my opinion.
None of us knew what we were doing though, John. It was very, we just kind of said, let's go along and be a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. You forgot the cameras were there a lot of the time because you were just...
I mean, you must have had fun. Some of the situations, some of the people, some of the things that
some of the things you see, you find out. I nearly thought about a booker for a while. I thought, oh no, BBC wouldn't give me permission to use the footage, so I left it there.
The concept, just for people that haven't watched changing rooms, and I know through experience now, there are some people that haven't seen changing rooms, which is beyond me. But it was 2 days. It was 2 days,
2 couples who supposedly lived next door to each other or very close by. And they swapped houses and decorated a room in each other's house.
And there was a budget.
With a budget of £500, which is, nothing.
Genius
Even
concept.
then it wasn't really much. But they were given a designer each, and I went between the 2 houses to kind of, see what was going on.
Yeah.
But there was a whole team of people you didn't see who had to, we had a second Handy Andy that nobody ever knew about.
What was his name? Do you remember?
Well, funnily enough, there were a few of them.
So I was going to say there were cycles.
Over the years, because we were 10 years doing it.
Oh, God.
So But one of them was a guy called D. Shoesmith, and he recently, a few years ago, he won Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year.
Really?
I'm watching it thinking, I know him. But his name wasn't D on the show, it was Duncan.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, it's D.
It all connected from there. Wow.
Yeah, he was so talented.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we had two handy Andys because obviously while Andy was in one house, work stopped in the other house. So we had to keep the work moving.
Yeah. And
often the second handy Andy would make a mistake and poor old our handy Andy had to take the blame on camera. Like, have you measured this wrong? And he's like,
it's all on my shoulders.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
It was the pinnacle.
It was the first reality show ever.
Well, this is what I've heard you say this.
It was
previously, and I just remember. Well, in researching to come and interview you, Carol, I've watched too many episodes of Changing Rooms just to try and get that nostalgic hit back. But that kind of telly just doesn't exist in the same way anymore.
Because there was a naivety to it.
Yeah,
we didn't go in to ruin people's lives. We didn't go in it for maximum conflict the way reality TV became.
Yeah, now it's the target.
Let's put really polar opposite people together, so we'll get a real big Barney going here. It wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, if it happened, then.
I don't think we even thought that. Yeah. So the very first couple who took part in it, I remember, applied to be on Ready, Steady, Cook.
Is that? And what was it? The booby prize was.
I think they were like, "Nah, you've not made it back. We've got this other show," and they were like, "Oh, okay."
This is a slightly different.
I felt
prospect,
quite bad
isn't
for
it?
them because they really didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they've not signed up for that, so presumably their rooms are fine. They didn't need changing. You've got it's all subjective. I guess.
Yeah. It's only a room.
But what an incredible thing to be part of, that legacy that you've left behind.
It was incredible.
And do you still look back on that and feel
huge fondness.
Fondness for it, yeah.
Huge. You've got the shirt up there, Changing Rooms on the back of it. I've got the scissors they gave me when I left, all engraved, the big dressmaking scissors. I evolved as a person along with all the rest of them. I started off with the sofa was absolutely wrecked. So you just put a throw on it. I'm like, this looks like a bad student squat. I can do better than that. Staple gun came out and I had a go because the sofas were so knackered. Yeah. And then I got quite good at upholstering.
So you're part of the crew at this point as well. You're getting involved with the transformation.
I just got, I didn't want to let them down. I thought, I can do better than that.
Yeah. That's lovely that you feel that fondness towards it, though. I think it's a huge chunk of your life.
It is. And I stay in touch with a lot of them still.
And you've had your kids, like your kids were born during that point as well.
Yeah, so it was an editing nightmare because 1 week I'd be not pregnant, the next week I'd be 6 months pregnant, and then there was, what's going on. But the nation kind of liked that. Yeah. They'd never seen a pregnant woman before. Ulrika Johnson was the first one who appeared on TV pregnant. She's pregnant.
That's
that's what everyone else does. But but then it was
natural.
People were genuinely interested in how it was going.
So you'd had your eldest daughter, Christy, before Changing Rooms.
Yes.
And then you had Robbie and Jodie during filming.
Yes.
Okay. How did becoming a mum? Obviously, you've become a mum already. But how did becoming a mum for another 2 times change your relationship with work? Because I would imagine you can commit all of your time and energy to the craft and to the job and finding work and filming show reels and all of these things. And then when you're actually in the thick of it, doing these filming schedules, also trying to be a mum, how did that change things?
I think a lot of people thought I was always desperate to get home, like it was a bad thing. But I didn't see the reason why I had to stay any longer than I needed to, because my focus was always going to be them before television. Television is wonderful, but it will drop you when the time comes, very unceremoniously, and you are dead to them. So don't pin your life on it. Don't let them in too much. Let them in a bit. Enjoy it for what it is. Make sure you get out what you want out of it, but don't make it your life, because it's transient and it will move on, and that's okay. But make sure you've got a plan, an exit plan. Right. Okay. Is my advice. Yeah. It's very different now, though. There was no social media back then. Yeah. So, I'd get a sort of grubby letter through the post, Carol Smillie, Scotland. It would get here. God. Yep. But he didn't know where I lived. He didn't know, what my house looked like inside, what my children looked like growing up. And that's great. I had complete autonomy in that respect. Yeah, you're much more exposed now, aren't you? My privacy was private, and it's not now. Yeah. Well, even to have those boundaries at that point. But again, one of my questions was, did the industry's attitude towards you change post children to what it had been previously? Not really. No, I don't think it did. I really don't think it did.
But your attitude shifted slightly, just in terms of now I've got
my priorities shifted.
Yeah. Okay.
That they were more important than anything, and if I was going to let people in, I let them into all of us, not just to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a single person anymore. I'm a mother of 3, and I've got a husband, all who are affected by this. So I'm not going in the jungle because they've all got to deal with that.
Yes.
And I've been asked 5 times.
Really?
Not now, they don't ask anymore, but it's like, no. Right. Why would I do that?
Yeah. There's a wider, broader consideration now, isn't there? Because as you say, it doesn't impact just you.
Yeah, it's selfish to do it. That's
a change that all parents go through as well, isn't it? Like all of a sudden you've got these parts of you that are living outside your body.
And the consequences of what you do hits hard on them.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to ask if there's anything you've done in your career that you wish more people had been aware of. When you talk about the projects that you've worked on, the things, more your TV career, because I look back at some of the Smillie's People episodes, which is really interesting watch for me, because again, I'm taking this position as an interviewer and I've seen some of the names of the people. If IMDb is correct, because it's got a list of 85 episodes of that show.
It was a lot, yeah.
Something like that.
So producer as Changing Rooms. That's how I did that.
Right. Okay. But I thought that it was mid-morning show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So that was what made it nice, because it could just slot in the middle of the morning.
But some of the names of people you interviewed, correct me if I'm wrong, we've cut it. Ian McKellen?
Yes.
Vivienne Westwood?
Yes.
I watched her once, so I was hoping that was real.
Yeah,
AI had done a number on me.
No.
You definitely interviewed Melvin Bragg.
Yes.
Because I watched this clip and in it, this really stood out to me. But he said, I have to read the quote.
I've never seen this clip.
Watch it back. I mean, I don't know what
down that rabbit hole of YouTube and
I'm really sorry.
Self-obsession.
I was speaking to the guys on the way up and they're like, John, I think you've gone like next level on this. I was like, I needed to be clued up. But he says at some point, he's talking about work, and he says, if you're lucky enough to have a job you like us, so he grouped you into that as well. And then the camera pans to your face. And I just thought in that moment, you might not remember it, but do you remember thinking, I like my job in that moment?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't remember thinking that because I don't remember much about the interview, but I know I did love my job, yeah.
Okay. I think that's a beautiful thing to find yourself. Yeah. It was so
I felt a little bit of
poignant.
a fraud on Smiley's People. I did think I am not the calibre of interviewer that perhaps I should be for this, but it's 15 minutes. I can learn up about that person for a 15-minute chat. And I learned that you have to listen to the answers before you fire into the next question, because you might have actually already answered it if you'd listened.
If I'd been...
That's not for you.
I was going to say, is that a
I didn't mean that. No, but occasionally you see it and you think, oh, God, they've just answered that. Don't make them...
If I was interviewing you, so we've been doing the podcast for 2.5 years now. If I was interviewing you in the first 6 months, I would have been completely guilty of that. And also feeling like you need to fill space.
Yeah.
If there's silence, that's a killer.
Sometimes leaving a silence is great, to just watch them squirm and keep speaking and say something else that little nugget that you think, got it.
Well, of the moment, Louis Theroux is a master at that, isn't he?
Master.
The silences that guy can leave just draw you in, and you feel, I need to feel this. I need to say something else.
And
not that he's ever spoken to me.
Shoot myself in the foot.
Yeah, exactly. But silence is such a powerful thing. But I look back at Smiley's People. I don't think... I didn't know that existed. I'd look back at the names and I thought, what an incredible legacy just to have those conversations with people.
Yeah,
is that something you
remember? Freddie Starr. I remember Gary Glitter.
I saw Gary Glitter. Yeah. Was that it? I can imagine these were all incredibly.
Freddie Starr was terrifying. He just didn't know what he was going to do next. We couldn't put a mic on because he would jump out this. Yeah, I thought.
But of that time and people that are, such big names. Yeah. I think that's an amazing legacy.
Some of them stayed with me, and I think, wow, I learned quite a lot about you. Not always the obvious ones. I'm going to ask me, I've now forgotten the guy's name, so let's...
Don't worry, that's okay. So, moving forward from there, because again, I could make it This Is Your Life and talk about all the TV projects and all the theatre projects, but I want to bring it... No, it's amazing, but I want to kind of bring it back, or more to kind of current day. Yeah. But I listened to again, another conversation with Kay Adams, the podcast you did, How to Be 60. And
I gave her a hard time about that. I said, why did you make me do that?
Really?
Yeah.
Why was that?
Because
I really enjoyed that
knew
conversation.
It was going to dig up all the old, women of a certain age in television not getting work. And I said, I don't want to, and it's different with this because I think
know
I'm
what you
over it
mean.
now, but I feel they just love to, wind women up to say, oh, it's not fair. And I think it's always been that way. It's not to make it right. But I knew it would come to an end soon. It will come to an end for everyone in TV one day. You've just got to be ready for it.
Well, and I think you made that point. I think you didn't sound like a victim of that.
Good.
Again, not at all. I think you actually...
It stirred up, the usual headlines.
Of course it did. But
the usual headlines came out and I think, well, here we go.
I think you actually corrected it in the moment, or at least were... Yeah, took the opportunity to take that stance, staking the ground. I didn't feel like I was a victim of that. You said everyone's day will come.
Yeah, it's true.
Again,
even Davina, even Holly, all, they are really on top of their game. Claudia, whatever. But one day, someone younger and more hungry for it will come, and they won't want to do it anymore. It's up to you. When you've got to take control and make it your decision.
Yeah. Were you aware of that going into the industry, or did that start to... No,
not
you
going in.
You became aware of that?
Because I fell in by accident. But, over the years you think, oh, okay. So they pit you against each other a little bit. And I think, oh, so it's okay to have a 75, 80-year-old male host, but not the women.
Yeah. Understood.
Love Bruce Forsyth, love him dearly. He was fantastic, but there's no women would have got that opportunity.
No, you are completely right. Yeah, I was trying to think, and we can cut this bit out, but I think it's an interesting point to bring up. I was trying to think of some of the older ladies that are on TV now, and maybe Mary Berry, Prue Leith, but they're of a very
specific.
It's their own
set,
thing, isn't it? That they're doing as well. But
maybe that they will help change it. I hope so.
Okay. So again, having that plan or having the mindset where you don't feel like, well, that chapter's done, I'm done. You've still got so much value. But you mentioned on that podcast again that some of the opportunities started to change and it evolved slightly, your experience with TV and presenting. So 2012, you started a company called Diary Doll.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that. You ran that business for 6 years.
Yeah.
This is like a sleeper thing again about you, Carol, that I didn't know until I started doing. But you
wouldn't really, wasn't you? You weren't really my customer, were you?
Not necessarily. I'm not your target. But you ran the business for 6 years. I think let's zoom out from what the product is. We'll talk about that in a second.
I'm happy to talk about the product.
But you ran it for 6 years. It got acquired, which is an incredible thing. Yeah. But how important did you think naivety was going into that? Running a business, if you know what was...
Probably a good thing.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, I'd never have done it.
Yeah.
So I was on holiday with my daughters, and we were talking on the beach about them going to some sleepover or something, and worried because their period was due and what was going on. I'm like, God, after all these years, there's still nothing on the market that would make that easier. No, there wasn't. So... came up with the concept, contacted someone I knew, someone who knew who someone knew in China, and made a prototype, ordered some stock, off we go. How hard can it be? Turns out really hard.
Yeah.
But the naivety was a good thing. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of people start a business and they worry about getting it perfect from day one. You'll never get it perfect from day one. You've got to get out there and get on with it and learn as you go, and adjust as you go.
Yeah.
So Diary Doll was really, it was about leak-proof underwear for young girls who were worried about school, sleepovers, sport, all that kind of stuff that we've all had to deal with for many years. But nowadays it's 10 times worse because people take a picture and they upload it and then they humiliate.
It's brutal.
It's horrible. So to me, to make something that was really discreet, soft, and nobody would have known, it seemed like a winner. We got a patent on it, which was amazing. I got some government funding, local government funding. I won a couple of awards. I got it in Boots. I got it in John Lewis. I got it in pharmacies up and down the UK, on QVC, Debenhams. It was amazing.
What a thing to have achieved, though. Yeah. But we speak to so many people that have set up businesses and they're either in the early stages and then realising, the shit hits the fan and you're like, this is really tough. This is really difficult.
Oh, it is really tough.
If you'd had that mapped out and every step up to the point that you sold the business had been laid out in front of you, there's a good chance that maybe... Seems really
my
tough.
Profile helped open doors.
Okay.
People were happy to talk to me. Magazines were happy to print.
Yes.
But then they also want to slightly humiliate you.
Okay.
Because I'd started it as a business for young girls, but realised that a lot of our customers were the mothers of the young girls. Well, always they were going to buy for their daughters, but they were also buying for themselves because their kids had gone back to school and they joined a gym.
Right.
And then they jumped about a bit and went, oh. And it's just one of these things that nobody talks about. So I became queen of the leaky ladies, really.
Okay. Right.
Which no one wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I didn't mind. I was like, okay. So I went on a particular daytime show. Don't know if I should tell you this. I went on a particular daytime show and they said, don't mention the name of the product. Don't mention this. Don't mention that. And I was like, okay. But it's live.
Right.
So I got on there and the presenter came out of the break and said, so how long have you been incontinent, Carol?
What a leading question. Yeah.
Now, my brain's whirring, thinking, there's a lot of my customers out there who are incontinent. I can't look like kind of indignant. No, I'm not. Even though I'm not. I've got to be very careful of them. So I had to think of my feet fast. And I said, well, just before we went into the break, your co-host there said to me, oh, I wouldn't go on a trampoline. Because you've had 2 kids too, haven't you? So it's not about whether you're incontinent or not. This is not a product for full-blown incontinence.
Yeah.
It's about working your pelvic floor and you will get through it. But in the meantime, you need a little belt and braces. We're fine. So the product's called diarydoll.com.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And here's the packet. I thought, I'm allowed to come on here and plug a book or a movie, but something that might actually help women and change their lives. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And that was so infuriating, so infuriating. So if you Google me and somewhere out there, you'll see I'm incontinent.
Right.
But I'm not.
Interesting stance to take on it. But again, it's trying to drum up that headline, isn't it? It's trying to find something. Sensationalise a great word.
And humiliate slightly. And I think, oh my God, you know, if women didn't have periods, you would not exist. None of us would, you know. But
again, when it comes to work, I always have to tie it back in some way. But work and the workspace, like the taboos around these topics and menopause and how that affects you.
Yes.
There is a taboo around it. How do we broach that?
Oh, it's much better than it used to be.
Of course.
Even back then, you know, you'd have adverts with blue liquid.
Yes.
Who emits blue liquid? You need to go and see a doctor. We've got past that. It's much more mainstream now. And all the maddening as it is, you know, Primark sell them, Marks and Spencer sell them, whatever, because they just changed one little thing on that patent and they get around it.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, I could have fought them, but it would have cost me possibly millions. I think they know you can't do that. So I was ahead of the time, definitely. Yeah. But I managed to find a company who market health products, people behind NutriBullet, and talk them into licensing it initially, and then they took the whole thing over. I thought.
But what an incredible string to your bow to have said that.
Well, I didn't have the back. You know, I was facing in front of me I had to put huge amounts of money into it to ramp it up to where it needed to be. I had to employ people. I had to take on premises, and I thought, I've done.
Too much.
I've proved that I can do it, but I don't want to get into that kind of level of commitment. I would rather someone took it over who has all that already in place.
And when you're talking about that level of commitment, it's time, energy, it's financial as well. But
my husband at that point, he retired, and he was like, I thought we were going to go travelling more. I thought we were going to do this. And I thought, yeah, I did too. Yeah. This has kind of grown arms and legs a bit, and I'm proud of that. But I don't know that I'm ready to start, you know.
But just to have made that conscious decision to realise because you could have been, you could still be doing that now. You could have been sucked into that world for however long and not got the balance that you've got now.
I met some amazing people though doing it. It was so fantastic. I met a lot of really amazing women who helped, and as such, I would always try and pass that on and help. I went to Anne Summers' head office. I remember Jacqueline Gold.
Right. Yeah.
No longer with us, unfortunately, but Jacqueline Gold offered to help.
Right.
I went to see her, and that was an eye-opener. And she said, what are your issues? What are the problems? What, you know, my marketing team are at your disposal. Because she thought it was a great idea. It wasn't really for her customer, not the market she was going for, but she was amazing. And I thought, gosh, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, it probably helped that she knew me or heard of me, but she really put her money where her mouth was and helped a lot. But
paying it forward is something that it teaches you straight away, doesn't it, to then go and do that yourself?
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay. But I think that's an incredible thing, and what a lane shift as well to go from where you were to now being an entrepreneur.
She gave me a goodie bag when I left. That was hilarious.
Okay. Brilliant. Could ask loads of questions.
I was going back on the flight up from Gatwick to Glasgow, and I thought, I don't know what's in this. I have no idea. It was all sealed up beautifully.
There's another taboo subject.
So I put it through security, and everyone was like, I'm thinking, please, 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 please. Nothing. I got through, shoved it in the overhead locker, shut it, and all I heard was zzz, zzz, zzz.
Oh no, Carol.
And somebody went, I think you've left your phone. I'm like, no, it's not my phone. How do
I explain this?
Oh, it's an alarm
What an
clock.
Experience. Yeah. It's good. It's a good job the paparazzi weren't around for that.
Oh no, I was long past that point. Didn't make me laugh though. Oh, what a great story.
So you've got this chapter of your life that ends around 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we come into this chapter.
Because I'm now thinking, what am I going to do now? Because I can't do nothing.
Well, this is the through line. This is the thread that kind of pulls this all together. When I look at some of the gaps in the chronology, it doesn't really feel like you're able to sit still, which is great, which is fantastic. I mean, it makes a much more interesting conversation for us. I
like to scare myself every so often.
Brilliant.
Sometimes, you find yourself in a situation when you're hosting something and you think, why did I say I would do this? Why? But it makes me feel alive. And I think, you're only here once, give it a go.
Yeah.
So yes, I knew I didn't want to do nothing, and I'm not very good with ladies' lunches and big groups of women together.
Right.
I've got my core friends that I love dearly, and I meet up with them every so often, but I'm not into kind of, doing lunch every day.
Okay.
So I had also, again, on holiday in Portugal, because we've got a place there, we go there regularly, met a girl who was an ex-Sky news presenter, and she worked as a wedding celebrant in Portugal. I thought, that's a nice job. That's a really nice job.
What was it that appealed to you when you heard wedding celebrant? What was it that appealed to you?
It ticked a lot of boxes that I was able to do. So writing scripts, speaking in public. What a happy thing to be able to do for someone, and having control of my own diary. That was quite a big thing for me.
Right, okay.
For so long, television, it can make you feel a little bit on edge because you think, am I ever going to get another job? Or will she get it? Or will they choose me? Will they not choose me? I don't want to be chosen. I can do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather do something that I choose when I work. So I contacted the biggest organisation of humanist ceremonies, because I'm not religious, in Scotland, which is Humanist Society Scotland. They're a charity. And I said, would it be weird, me doing this? And they said, well, some people might think so, but other people might really love it.
Because of your profile. Right. Okay. Got you. Yeah.
Why don't you come and do the training and see how you get on? So I started with funerals and baby namings was first, actually, because there's no legal element to that, nor is there to funerals. But I thought, this could be scary.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, when we talk about pressure, responsibility to be there at that stage of someone's passing, someone's life, celebration for their family, what a thing to throw yourself in and do.
I know.
Started with funerals.
Well, you have to. The training is such that if you can do that, you can handle weddings easily.
Understood. Yeah. Okay.
But
what was your first time like?
Well, you're kind of they are very good as an organisation. There's lots of backup training. You do the course and then you shadow other celebrants. Right. You have to shadow at least 6 celebrants. Okay. Because they've all got different styles of the way they do things. So go and see a funeral. What to say when there's nothing to say. When someone had a very small life and they didn't do much and they didn't have a lot of friends and they didn't have a lot of interests, what do you say? So that was a masterclass in watching how to speak about someone who had not a lot going on. And then others that perhaps, I've done gangland killings, I've done murders, suicides, baby funerals. They are. Oh, wow. And there's nothing that prepares you for something like that. And you think television is so shallow. Right. It really puts everything in perspective, because you think this is real life. And in many ways, my profile also helped, because when you're going to visit a family, a bereaved family, and they're really raw and broken by the point you're going around to see them in their home, they feel like they know you. And there's an element of trust that you will deliver something that will be good and reflect that person's life. And that's a huge responsibility, as you say. But it's such a privilege as well. I was
going to say, the pride you must feel post those experiences
The things you learn about families, they're complicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot, on a day like a funeral, it's very, emotions are running high. People might turn up, they don't want to be there. If it's the afternoon, they might have been to the pub first. And you think, have I got a fight in my hands here? Or, wow.
There's a few variables, a few moving parts.
You think you know about life. No, you don't. When you come home at night and you think, my kids are fine.
Well, these are some of the most emotive moments in our lives, aren't they? And you're present for that, which is a huge privilege, a huge responsibility. Yeah. And you are playing referee at some times and keeping those plates spinning, and what a thing to be doing. So when you're talking about like to scare yourself, it ticks all those boxes.
Yes, that's
For anyone that doesn't know what a humanist celebrant is, could you explain it?
So humanism is, a lot of people are humanists and they don't know it.
Right.
They're completely accepting the fact that all people have their own individual values. But humanists believe you get one life and you should live that life the very best way you can. This is not a visit, it's not a rehearsal. You get one shot at it. So make it matter, make it the very best that you can, and be respectful, tolerant and kind to your fellow human beings. Just treat people the way you would like to be treated. I think that's a very normal... I do lots of weddings and funerals for people who are religious, but they're perhaps different religion, or they want something very personal. And I'm not judging whether you are religious or not, but if this is the kind of ceremony you want, I will do that for you. But there will be no hymns, prayers, no kind of, religion of any kind, no worship. It's about that person or that couple. It's not about anything else.
Okay.
It's now number one in Scotland over all other faiths combined.
Is it really? Wow.
That's how popular it is. Can I just add one thing?
Oh, please do.
Sorry, okay.
Don't be silly. Yeah.
When it comes to weddings, I can conduct legal weddings without a minister or registrar or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I need people to understand I can only do that in Scotland. And I only work in the Glasgow area because I'm worried that this will have people approach and go, oh, can you marry me in Surrey? Or can you? No, I can't. So my legal jurisdiction is Scotland only.
Okay.
And that's just a thing that the law hasn't changed yet. So my colleagues in Ireland can marry couples legally. All my colleagues here can marry couples legally. England, not yet.
Right. Okay. Do you think that will change in the future?
Yes, I think it will. I think there have been moves that have... England is moving towards... being able to have celebrants conduct legal ceremonies. It's a shame because I think you don't want to go to two different places.
No, of course not. With the way you're trying to get the balance in your life, would you go south?
Absolutely not.
There you go then.
I had inquiry through an agent I sometimes use last week saying, oh, this couple in Surrey. And I went, sorry?
There you go.
And she said, yeah, but it's only half an hour from Gatwick. I'm like, this is now going to take me an all day and an overnight to do a job that I could have done in 2 hours or 3 hours from home. Why would I do that?
It just doesn't. We're in a point now where if it doesn't work, for you.
There'll be lots of people down there that can do that. Or is it because you want me? And that's very sweet and very nice.
Yeah.
There's no money would pay me to do that.
I didn't want to make it awkward and ask on camera. No, we won't be doing that. But okay, thank you for clearing that up. Because just in case we're inundated with, or you're inundated with requests. I don't think we'll be
inundated, but I just there's a confusion that people don't always understand.
It's good. It's good to.
The better you know.
So we talked about this in preparation. You very kindly gave up some of your time for us to do a video call, just to make sure I wasn't an axe murderer, I reckon. You need to do your diligence. But we talked about, this is small world syndrome, my brother getting married in Glen Nevis, and he was married by another humanist celebrant whose name, this is the worst bit of a podcast ever because I can't remember the name, but it was someone that you trained with and that you knew. And again, going out on a limb here, it was just, the experience is so beautiful because, as you say, it's the here and now. And this is really what the message of the podcast is, that you've got one go at this. Like, don't be miserable. Go and make changes in your life to try and do something that you can be fulfilled.
I've always felt that way about life before I even got into this job, that I think, what's the worst that can happen? You try it and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's okay. You tried it. Don't close doors off because of fear that you can't do it. You might just be able to do it, and if you can't, then don't do it again. But I can't believe people who do a job and they dream of Friday night and dread Monday morning. I think, oh gosh, and they're young. I think, get out, do something that makes you happy, because it's a long time working.
Yeah, I think we said before we started recording, I speak to people day in, day out and have done for 14 years that are miserable in their jobs and have exactly that mindset, live for a paycheck, go back to work on Monday. I'll get through the week, And I feel for those people, but you have to be willing to make a change if you're going to
be brave.
Yeah, bravery is such a... I don't think people talk about that enough. You have to be brave and you have to dive in.
And I appreciate for a lot of people that, they perhaps financially can't just stop, but maybe look into when you have got time off, building a hobby or building a community or something that you think perhaps you could move into. Yeah,
I'm always conscious of giving really glib advice, which is basically just do it. Just do it. But everyone we ask that question to is usually that is the crux of it. You have to do it. Nothing changes when you don't change anything.
Yeah.
You have to push yourself. And I love the fact that you had that outlook before even becoming a...
Yeah, well, that just confirmed it. As soon as I started this job, I was, wow.
And you have to believe that, don't you? You have to have conviction when you're presenting these... Are we calling them ceremonies?
Yes.
Ceremonies.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And, in many cases, I think your life is so different from mine. I'm conducting a funeral of perhaps a family who lived in a high-rise block, and they've got granny and grandpa upstairs, they've got cousins downstairs, they didn't have a lot of friends, but their whole family was there and brought them up. And I think I didn't have that, but I totally see how amazing that was. And I'm quite envious of that in many ways. But just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different.
That ability to relate and empathise. I mean, you have to have empathy, don't you, in this job? It's like buckets of, maybe too much.
You also have to be able to step back and say, this is not about me, and leave your ego at the door, because yes, people might recognise who I am, but it's definitely not about me. And I do that. I do the job under the name Carol Knight,
right,
which is my married name.
Okay.
Because it just stepped back a little bit. You can't do a funeral... Smiley, Carol, Smiley.
Well, there you go. So you just quoted Ronnie and Conan there as well. And what's your view on that, out of interest?
I love that.
Okay, great.
What a privilege.
So again, fondness around
I met
that.
up with her a couple of times.
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, Carol Smillie. I mean, the minute you say the name, it just rings.
Carol Smillie.
Yeah, I mean, but again, just being able to separate that, detach yourself, and then focus on the job, I think is great. Going back again, listening to some of your previous interviews, you talked about how when you became a celebrant, you started to be judged, or saw that you could be judged on your own ability rather than maybe the way you looked or the way you presented on camera.
Yeah.
Is that something, when you look back on your career, do you reflect on what you did differently? Or do you view that differently at all?
What I did when I was younger was great. I don't regret a moment of it. But this is the first job I've had. I think that what I look like is virtually unimportant.
Okay.
Having said that, I still always try and make an effort. Of course I do. But I have so many colleagues around me who are still working in their 70s and beyond. And I think the age doesn't matter. And that's amazing, because you can do the job. That's most important to a family. Can you deliver that ceremony? Can you make it the best day possible for them under whatever circumstances that may be? And I think how lovely that doesn't matter if you're male, female, young, old, but tall, short, fat, thin, doesn't matter. These people are amazing. The people I've met doing this job, I'm in awe of them because they're so good at what they do. And if I can just be a small part of that, that's fantastic.
That's incredible. And I think it's lovely as well that you don't regret anything. Do you wish you'd moved into this sooner?
No.
Or do you feel like it's come along at exactly the right time for you?
Exactly the right time for me. But it's the first time in my life I've also been in control of my own diary.
That autonomy is like liberating, isn't it, when you've got that?
Yeah, I think obviously I want to still work, but I can pick and choose when I work.
Yeah.
As I say, we have a property in Portugal, so we're there every 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Maybe just a week, maybe 10 days. In the summer, I go away for a month. And I can do that because my wedding bookings are a year in advance. I won't take bookings any more than a year in advance because I don't know. My son's in the States, yes, but he might move somewhere else. Or my daughter's in Portugal, she might move somewhere else. I want to be able to have the freedom to go and see them next year, but I don't want to be tied up with every weekend with a wedding if that's the case. So I have to be very organised and block dates off and book flights in advance so that I can be sure that I will still have a life outside of this. Because once again, I've got to consider my husband. He wants to go too. So I want to be kind of tying myself back here all the time. But So I've got the best of both worlds.
Okay. And you've been married for 31 years, is that right?
I have been married
I think I put you on the spot.
1991. So 35 years.
35 years. Okay. So yeah, making...
You look at that picture in the corner. It's so bad.
Oh, wow. I mean, if you don't mind, there is some amazing. I mean, we mentioned again, you've been on This Is Your Life. I can see this is all off camera at the minute, but we'll, if it's okay, we'll share maybe some pictures. But This Is Your Life is up there. You've got your dress from when you were on Strictly Come Dancing in 2006.
Good, yeah, I can't remember. I think so.
We're just on 2006.
Series
stick
5,
with that.
I think.
It's just amazing. Some of the.
I know they're memorabilia, and I keep them out here. I don't bring them in the house because
I love it. I think
enough.
I mean, again, having this experience and. I think it's amazing that you've got this out here as well. Yeah. But if you're comfortable with it, we'll take a couple of snaps and share them on the episode as well.
When the kids were young, this was a office for us because there was so much noise in the house.
Just get out.
But then it became a gym for my son when he was going through the kind of, bodybuilding phase. Protein shake.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And now it's actually come into its own because it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I can do all my sewing upstairs. I still do that. I still got the sewing machine up there.
Amazing.
All the time.
Less sofas and stuff now, I guess, upholstery for sofas.
No, I'm about to upholster a bed, actually.
Wow.
I was
really don't
looking
stop.
for fabric.
Okay. Has your definition of success changed?
Success comes in many, many ways. Has it changed? Yes, I think when I was younger, success was financial and property and, possessions. Success now is happiness and contentment. And, as parents, have you done the very best you can for your kids to turn them into, contributors to society and kind people, which I think they are. So, yeah, I'm really very happy.
It evolves over time, doesn't it? And again, what you set out
priorities change.
I mean, kids are the great leveler, aren't they, as well? They force you to have to think outside yourself and beyond things that were once important. They don't care if you're on the telly or not. Couldn't care less. I remember Christy, when she was very young, we still laugh about this. I was sitting signing, we used to sign signed photographs. I'd sit and sign them off, send them to my agent and to send on. And she said to me, she must have been 5 or 6, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just signing these pictures." "What for?" "Because they're for people who want to keep them." Thinking as I'm saying, this is ridiculous. And she said, "What people?" I said, "People who have seen me on TV." "Well, they want a picture of you because they've seen you on TV." "Yeah." "Well, that's just stupid," she said. And I thought, "You're right." Anyway, the doorbell rang and it was the window cleaner wanting his money. And she went, "Mum, it's the window cleaner. Yeah.
Does he know you from the telly or not? Is he just here for the window, or does he just know you from the TV?" Like, "No, he just wants his money for the windows, babe. It's okay."
They've got a beautiful way of humbling you straight away, haven't
absolutely.
they? Bring you back, crashing back down to earth.
You are nothing.
For sure.
But what's from a tea?
Exactly.
The important stuff.
Provide for me, please. So your daughter, Jodie, is a musician.
Yes.
She's a DJ.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, she was on The Voice as well.
Yeah, she was. Oh, yeah. I know.
Okay, what an experience as well. So she was on The Voice. What advice do you have you given to her, or would you give to her as the kind of spotlight on her starts to grow, or maybe even going through that experience of being on The Voice? There's a bit more scrutiny.
I was quite against her going on The Voice initially.
Okay.
She was too young to go to uni, just the way her birthday fell. She had a place doing languages in Newcastle, I think. So she had a year to really catch up. You don't want to go to uni under 18. That's like, hard work.
You miss part of the lifestyle stuff.
So we said, okay, you can take a year off and you can... She started busking when she was 13.
Right.
Don't ask me why. Not my,
What was your view on that, though, at the time?
I sat in doorways.
Okay.
Just to check she wasn't
You're the security.
Yeah, I was the security in doorways. And then after a while I'd go, "I'm just going to Marks and Spencer's. I'll be back out in a minute."
Yeah, I'll
if
check
anything
in.
happens, yell. Anyway, so yeah, she'd been doing this since she was about 13, and she wasn't the happiest at school, mean girls and all that kind of thing. So this was like a release for her. And she took part in the school talent show, which we didn't know what she was doing because we didn't know she could sing.
Right.
That's what happens with the last one. They sort of slip the net and you're like, "What? You're doing what?"
My other half, Sophie's the youngest, and I kind of get that impression as well. Yeah, it plays.
And then she did really well on the talent show. We're like, "Oh, she can sing." So she started busking, and then, she got this place at uni. doing languages the way her sister had done languages. And she obviously just thought, well, that's what I'll do. And so we said, you can take a year off, but you're not lying in your bed all day. You can get a part-time job, or you can busk, or you can do open mic nights, or all these things. But I want to see some sort of, effort here.
Yeah.
So she did all that. And then the Voice contacted her.
Wow. Okay.
From YouTube or whatever, and said, would like you to take part. And she was a bit like, oh, I want to go and do this. And I'm thinking, oh no.
Why?
Because I knew once they found out that she was my daughter, that would be the story.
Okay.
And I felt awful for that, because I didn't want it. I hadn't anything to do with her singing. She'd done that on her own. And as soon as it becomes about me, it just,
It's Carol Smillie's daughter on The Voice,
yes,
rather than Joan.
Yes, and the shift changes. Like, I've pushed her into this. Like, I'm one of these, dance moms. And it so wasn't the case. So I said, okay. My husband said to me, so you said she can take a year off for uni and pursue a music career, and then the biggest music show on TV contacts her, and you're going to say no. I thought, yeah, you are right. That seems a bit mean. So I said, okay, but I kept out my sister took her to the initial audition. Right. And then as she got more and progressed further and further, when they said she would make the live shows, my husband took her down, and we'd chaperone her to rehearse with the band and everything. We never mentioned who she was, or that she was my daughter. And then they sort of said at the last minute, so we've, what are the, anything else you want to tell us we should know? They went into her social media, cleaned it all up that she'd ever had. They had a psychologist check that she was not going to harm herself if they didn't turn. I mean, It was quite thorough.
Yeah, it's a process.
And then she kind of looked at her dad as if to go, do we have to tell? So she fessed up, and they were like, oh, that's fine. Yeah. We've had others before, don't worry about it. So when it came to the live show, we all went down. It was so hard to watch, because I think, they'd make them sit around till 10 o'clock at night from 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think, I've lost the will to live. I don't know how you have.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking they wouldn't do that. Anyway, I kept quiet, because she was like, Mom, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm not saying anything. And then, of course, they didn't turn, which didn't surprise me. She didn't have the experience. She was 17 and she didn't even do music at school.
I mean, what a thing to be putting yourself out on the line, just the confidence to go out and try.
God. And then, of course, straight after the camera's in her face, how do you feel? And I thought, yeah, so proud she didn't burst into tears. She was amazing. But she did lock herself in the disabled loo and cried for about half an hour.
Well, this is the question. I was looking at her experience, and I think, having gone through so much of that yourself, or that world, and being under scrutiny, and what advice do you give her?
I said to her, look, if you really want to pursue a music career, you better get used to this. Massive highs, massive lows, because it's not going to be an easy ride. And so if you can't hack it, don't do it. And she was like, I don't want to do languages. What am I thinking of? This is all I want to do. Oh, gold. Great. So this is what you're doing now. So we had to scramble to find a place for her to study music. And the school stepped up. She'd left school 2 years before. The school stepped up and helped her pass an exam that she was needed. And she got into LIPA, Paul McCartney's music school in Liverpool.
Amazing.
And she chose songwriting and production because she said, if I can't make it, someone else might make it with my music.
Right.
And I thought, good for you. And it's been, watching her has been amazing, because I think, I could stick that out. So she's pivoted now from singing and guitar and to DJing, which happened in lockdown, because she couldn't sing, and she was collaborating with DJs online and uploading her voice. And suddenly it was like, oh, I quite like this.
Incredible. So
she's just about to tour the States and Canada in July.
That's amazing.
She changed her name. She's now called All Night, which is her DJ name. And she's just doing brilliantly. I think, wow.
That's fantastic. That is so cool. And again, lovely to, just for that experience, if we focus in on that, just to have had that, for you to have gone through something very similar to help guide her through that, I think I just really didn't want
her to be harmed by my profile.
Understand. Yeah, I get that.
And I said, if they don't turn for you, it might be because they've got another girl they've already turned for that's similar to your voice or age group or genre. It's not necessarily about you.
Yeah.
And don't forget, these people you're up with have done cruise ships. They've been singing for years. It's amazing that you're here.
Yeah, 17 years of age.
Don't be knocked by if they don't turn. I just need you to be prepared for that, because it's very possible.
Yeah. And there's so many parents. And again, I always bring my mum up on the podcast, and you'll see why in a second. But my mum has injected this kind of feeling into me that I can do anything. Yes. And maybe at that time, they will turn. they'll 100% turn. I know, and she meant it from this place of love, and she only ever wanted, what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I think you do need to ground yourself sometimes.
You've got to ground
but
them
what if?
to be prepared
Exactly.
for the worst.
How do you become resilient?
Yeah.
Well, what if it goes wrong? So I think that's lovely.
Yeah.
You've already given us some amazing views on life is too short to be unhappy. But I always ask this question in the podcast anyway, but what advice would you give someone that's sat there now, has got this itch about wanting to change something about work and career or move job? What advice would you give to that person?
I'd ask what's holding you back. Because there's something holding you back. Is it money? Is it family? Is it just personal fear? Because nothing will change unless you make it change. So get off your ass and do it.
There you go. Have we got a mic to drop? I think that is. But again, I think that's an amazing viewpoint, and it does sound so simple. And there are some people that will, but there are so many people that hear that and go, yeah, but it's not as easy as that, and that's completely.
Or yeah, but it's all right for you. I hate that line. It's all right for you. People say, oh, you've been so lucky, and I think this has not happened with luck.
Yeah.
This has happened with guts and hard work and bravery, and that doesn't happen with luck.
But that's why it's so lovely having a long format conversation, because you see so many short little clips and sound bites all the time. But to be able to sit down and talk to you and to understand how you've got to where you are, none of that is luck. That is all taking a risk, so much risk taking, so much what's on the other side of fear and diving in and doing it. And it sounds like really simplistic advice to give, get off your ass and do it, or just do it. But a lot of the times that is where change happens. So I think you've got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Carol, do you want to play a game?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to play a quick game.
I said that a little bit too easily.
So we always try and hoodwink a game in somewhere to these episodes. So this game, when I get it up,
I'm a terrible game player.
You'll be great.
No.
Well, you were on House of Games.
I know.
So you're not.
I know.
How did you do
I know
on that,
many
though?
times. Well, I won the dartboard, didn't I? So I did get something.
Oh, there you go. So you're not a terrible. I mean, there's the evidence.
I don't know how I won the dartboard, but I did. Yeah.
Okay. I've got to have conviction doing this game, because they're always a bit shit. If I'm honest with you, but this one I think is one of my best yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a game called Changing Rooms.
Oh yeah.
The intonation's important.
Catchy.
So I'm going to show you a zoomed in image.
Yeah.
From that zoomed in image, you have to tell me, is it a changing room or is it from Changing Rooms?
Oh, okay.
So the S is the difference. Thank you for being a sport and doing this.
A long time ago I did this, but
it's all right. Well, I've had to rely on a lot of Google and try and get the...
How shit does it look is probably going to be the answer.
Well, we'll see. Okay, right. So we're going to start with this image, and don't worry if the camera can see it or not. We'll fix this in post. So I just need you to tell me.
It's a changing room.
It's a changing room. Let's see. It is a changing room. This is the Rangers changing room.
Oh.
Because you're a Rangers fan.
No, I don't support football of any kind, but we live very close to Rangers football.
This is the thing. Wikipedia.
I know.
There was a Rangers thing. I've tried to make it. Let's hope some of the other ones are relatable.
Sorry, Rangers
That's
fans.
all right, but
I cannot be seen to support any football team in Scotland. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, no.
I can't even wear a red. I can't even wear a green or a blue dress to a wedding.
Zero allegiance. Carol has zero allegiance to the football team.
Yeah.
Can we keep score on this as well, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Just.
Oh gosh, there's going to be that many.
It's important. It won't take that long. This will be over soon. Okay, so that's.
Do you know why I knew that wasn't a changing room?
Well, because you.
It was a changing room because the king was not the king when I was doing changing rooms. It's not very difficult.
There's the giveaway.
Yeah, that's changing rooms. That's a Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. I know it is. Yeah.
What? I mean, this is changing rooms.
Yeah.
At the time, is this of an age, of an era? Did anyone sit back and think this is a good one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fire hazard. Let's look at those candles.
I was going to say the candles on the floor. Okay.
Lawrence painted these on his own. He just did them out of his head.
Did he really?
That guy is such an artist. It's amazing.
I mean, there's no shade against this, Lawrence, either. Yeah. If you do end up watching, but this is of an era, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's of
very,
the 90s.
Baroque. Yeah.
Baroque. Yeah. Excuse the pixelated images. This is not the best production, but we'll try. Changing rooms.
Be changing rooms.
It is changing rooms. Yeah. There we go. Do we remember these as well?
Yes. I see it in wide, yeah.
Do you remember who designed this one?
That would be Lawrence as well.
Lawrence as well?
Because cherubs are his thing.
Okay, brilliant. And without, again, I don't want to put Lawrence under fire here. This was from a site where some of the reactions were apparently not as good as some of the other ones. But again,
really?
sorry, Lawrence. Okay, this is crap for people that are listening, but if you're watching on YouTube, you'll really enjoy this game. Okay, changing rooms.
Changing room.
It's a changing room. That's Murrayfield. Any rugby fan?
No, not particularly.
I didn't think so. Wikipedia didn't say that.
Nice thighs, but that's probably the end of it.
Okay, well, look, you can be a fan of that. Okay, changing rooms.
Changing room.
Where do we think this could be?
Not a clue. We didn't use things like that.
Okay. The swimming pool changing room.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You can see. I think this is working really nicely. This is clear sweep. Changing rooms.
Changing rooms.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's sofa.
So
I probably upholstered that sofa.
Did you?
For sure.
Very white.
Well, no one else did it. That's a Graham Wynne.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Graham Wynne. So these
Am I right?
people. Do you know what? I don't know. But you said it with conviction, so
yes,
he
loved white and kind of he liked that sort of Knightsbridge apartment look.
These people didn't have children, did they?
Clearly not.
I mean,
probably did, and we didn't ask them.
Yeah, we're just rolling with it anyway. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we're nearly there, Carol. Thank you for indulging me. Changing rooms.
Changing room.
Thank you for thinking about it. It's a changing room. It's a theatre. It's actually a dressing room.
Dressing room.
But I've taken creative license with that. I thought homage to your time in theatre as well. With what you've done.
A little brief time.
We haven't really spoken about that
No.
much, but I just wanted to incorporate that in the game. If you want to look at Carol's theatre credits, then we'll put some links up for that as well. Changing rooms.
Changing rooms.
You know,
I remember that. That was Oliver Heath.
Okay. Again,
maybe it was Anna Ryder Richardson.
It doesn't
Anna
seem
Ryder
her
Richardson.
colour.
Take it back.
Doesn't seem her colour palette though.
But she quite liked the whole Barbarella thing, and that was definitely that. I mean, who has a fire like that? Well, they haven't. It's a
statement.
A hole in the wall.
It's a statement piece, isn't it? Okay. Is that the last one? No, we're nearly there though. Changing room. Would you like to hazard a guess of what kind of changing room it might be?
It's probably in a shop. It's like River Island or something, isn't it?
Carol.
Yep.
You're amazing at this game, honestly. This is good. Add this to your list of talents. I can identify changing room.
I can tell the flooring, and I'm a big shopper, John.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't do any sport, but my God, I can work up a sweat in a shopping
is your
centre.
Sport.
Yeah.
Shopping is your sport. Okay.
That's also a changing room. No, that's one of my contestants. Can I see the purple shirt?
Yeah, it is. So we're changing it to changing rooms. You've done. It's clean sweep.
Yeah.
Do we remember the teapot episode?
Of course we remember. That was one of the most famous episodes of all time.
So just to be clear here,
teapots.
It's Linda Barker doing floating shelves with teapots.
Yeah.
How important were the teapots to the people that subsequently saw them break?
We thought hugely important, but I suspect really she had a few teapots and people got it in their head that she collected them and then kept giving her more and more till the poor woman was inundated with them and grinning through gritted teeth.
Right.
So Andy, and really was Andy this time, he built these floating shelves and to display said teapots. And then just before we were about to do the reveal, a runner came in and put a load of other stuff on the shelves. It wasn't anyone else's, it was the runner who had books and things, and they just couldn't take that weight.
Oh my word.
We weren't filming. I was next door in the room next door with a sewing machine, and honestly it was this almighty crash.
I think what got aired, was that one of the worst things that ever happened on Changing Rooms in terms of the reaction? No,
I think the checkered floor was the worst in Hull. But anyway, that was a shocker. But I think actually we broke the habit for her, and she claimed 10 grand off the BBC. Good luck to her.
That's incredible. Wow. Okay, well look, you've got a clean sweep there, Carol.
Yeah.
Which means you get the JobsWorth mug. I would like
One
to
step closer to burnout.
There you go. Yeah, you don't need to keep it.
Oh, you need the JobsWorth podcast.
podcast.
I'll put that with my cups of tea and coffee there.
I was wondering if it would make the shelves behind you, but maybe not. It's quite the ask, isn't it? Right, we've got the closing tradition on the podcast now,
Yes.
and then we're done. Thank you so much for indulging us this long. This is the question from my mum. So each episode, my mum sends in a voice note and asks a question. We've since learned, I thought this was original. Do you know Ramesh Ranganathan?
Yes.
He gets his mum to do exactly the same thing. We're still having a battle.
I'm sure you thought of it first.
I think so.
Of course you did.
I think so, yeah. Okay, let's get mum's question up very quickly.
Hi, Carol. Hopefully John will let me ask a slightly longer question than normal, seeing as it's you. Changing rooms was such a big part of family life when John and Luke were growing up in the 90s with me. It was great to see a really creative programme on the television, which wasn't really a thing back then. And I just wondered if your children had been inspired, particularly by anything that you've done in your career. Thanks very much.
Oh, that's a good question. She sounds lovely.
My mum's name's Lisa.
Oh,
she is
Lisa,
lovely. She is
bless
lovely.
her.
She's been ever present throughout the podcast. She'll always send a question in every single episode. But Luke is my brother, so when she says John and Luke,
Yes,
it was us growing up in the 90s. Yes.
So my children, 2 of them are big homemakers. It's funny now that Robbie's living in New York. He and his girlfriend, I get regular updates about, the feature wall and, what she would do with the bed and what about the lighting. And Jodie has now moved in with her boyfriend in London, and Alex and I went down with a van to move most of our life down there and did a full changing rooms over a weekend.
Oh, wow.
With her of, painting and
2 days, £500, or was it?
Well, I never saw the £500, John. I never saw that. But yeah, that's part of parenting. And I know Christy, because she's very much into her yoga, etc. She wants to have a yoga studio one day of her own, and I will definitely be called in for that. So from a very specific changing rooms point of view, yes, I think they've all really kind of taken on board how important home is, and that it should be your palace and your place of refuge. And I have never seen such creativity between them all. It's fantastic. We're very much kind of, your bed is your haven. Make it the biggest and the best that you can. Spend all your money on bedding, good bedding and a big bed, because it's just the best ever.
It's the great advice.
But I think they are. Jodie's performing, which is interesting. Funnily enough, when she was she toured last year with another DJ that she was collaborating with, and she wore that Strictly dress on the tour in Denver, Colorado, at Red Rocks. She sang at Red Rocks in Denver, and we went to see her. And she said, I need something a bit special. I was like, why don't you wear this Strictly dress? She was like, oh my God, I'm so wearing this Strictly dress. I took the tail off. I thought it was a bit much.
That was a bit much.
The tail. Yeah, the whole dress is a bit much. But yeah, she performed with that. So that was amazing. So we're all we're very close as a family, and they do all contact each other a lot, which I'm very proud of.
That's so lovely.
And so, I think there's an element of what they perhaps didn't appreciate the home that they grew up in, but now they do when they're having to, adulting's expensive, as they say.
Yeah.
And Alex helps them a lot with, tax and investments and all that kind of thing, because my dad didn't tell me anything. So he's really good with all of that and helping advice and dad stuff.
Yeah.
And the creativity stuff.
That's
I will
amazing.
Help them with. But yeah, I think they have.
That's brilliant. Carol, you've been so generous with your time and the space you've given us. And genuinely, from my perspective, we've been so excited about coming up and sitting with you. It was, I was over the moon when you said yes to sitting down and doing this. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute honour to sit down and have a conversation with you.
You're very, very welcome. It's been lovely to meet the 3 of you. So nice. My husband said to me, do I need to stay? Do you know this guy? I'm like,
we'll be out of your hair, sure.
No, he just worried me in case you were some sort of, silent axe murderer.
Right, yeah. Well, it's nice. We can say, no, I am not.
He seems quite normal. You're okay. You're okay.
Thank you so much, Carol. You absolutely smashed it. Well done. That's brilliant.
Thank you.